The subtle knife. The swirling mists of Sitgaz enveloped Will Parry as he stumbled through its eerily empty streets. The Mediterranean architecture, bathed in soft golden light, should have been welcoming, but the absence of life sent chills down his spine. His hand, freshly bandaged and throbbing with pain, was a constant reminder of the impossible journey that had brought him here to a city in another world. Will's mind raced, replaying the events that had led him to this moment. The men searching his house, his accidental killing of an intruder, his mother's fragile mental state, it all seemed like a distant nightmare now. Yet here he was, a 12-year-old boy, suddenly thrust into a universe he couldn't begin to comprehend. As he rounded a corner, the mist parted to reveal a girl about his age, her wild brown hair framing a face filled with equal parts curiosity and wariness. Beside her, a small red-gold creature shifted forms rapidly, from ermine to wildcat to moth. Will blinked, unsure if his eyes were playing tricks on him. "Who are you?" the girl demanded, her voice carrying a hint of Oxford in its accent. "What are you doing here?" Will tensed, ready for a fight if necessary. "I'm Will. Will Parry. And I don't know how I got here." "Where is here, exactly?" The girl's expression softened slightly. "I'm Lyra Belacqua. And this," she gestured to the shape-shifting creature, "is Pantalaimon, my daemon. We're in Sitgaz. It's complicated." As Lyra began to explain about multiple worlds and the mysterious dust, Will felt his head spin. It was all too fantastical, too impossible. And yet, hadn't he just walked through a window in the air to get here? Their uneasy alliance formed quickly, born of mutual need and shared confusion. Lyra's tale of her own world, of armored bears, and witch clans, of a golden compass that told the truth, both fascinated and overwhelmed Will. In turn, his story of modern-day Oxford, so similar yet so different from Lyra's own, filled her with wonder. As night fell, they took shelter in one of the abandoned houses. The silence of the city was oppressive, broken only by the occasional scuttle of unseen creatures in the shadows. Will's hand throbbed incessantly, the makeshift bandage doing little to ease the pain. "Let me see," Lyra said, her voice uncharacteristically gentle. As she unwrapped the bandage, her eyes widened. "Oh, Will, this needs proper tending." In that moment of vulnerability, a bond began to form between them. Two children from different worlds, each carrying burdens far too heavy for their young shoulders, finding solace in each other's company. The next day brought new challenges and revelations. They encountered the specters, soul-eating creatures invisible to children, but deadly to adults. The reason for Sitgaz's emptiness became horrifyingly clear. Their exploration led them to the Tor degli Angeli, a tower that seemed to pulse with hidden power. It was here that Will's destiny began to unfold. In a room at the top of the tower, they found a man driven mad by fear and loneliness, and in his possession was a knife unlike any other, the subtle knife. The fight that ensued was brutal and swift. Will, driven by instinct and desperation, found himself wielding the knife. Its blade, sharper than thought, cut through more than mere physical matter. It sliced through the very fabric of reality, opening windows between worlds. As the defeated man fell, his last words echoed in the chamber. The bearer of the knife must take up the mantle. You are the new bearer, boy. Use it wisely, for it has a will of its own. Will stared at the knife in his hand, its double edge glinting ominously. He could feel its power thrumming through him, both exhilarating and terrifying. Lyra watched him with a mixture of awe and concern. Pantalaimon, chittering nervously at her side. "What does this mean, Will?" she asked softly. Will shook his head, his voice barely a whisper. "I don't know. But I think everything's about to change." Their journey took on a new urgency. With the subtle knife, they could travel between worlds at will. But this power came with great responsibility and even greater danger. They learned of Lord Azrael's grand rebellion against the authority, of Mrs. Coulter's ruthless pursuit of power, and of the prophecy surrounding Lyra the child, who was destined to bring about the end of destiny itself. As they moved between worlds, each new reality brought fresh wonders and terrors. In Will's Oxford, they narrowly escaped capture by the mysterious men, searching for Will's father. In Lyra's world, they witnessed the growing tensions between the forces of the Magisterium and those who sought to unlock the secrets of Dus. Their alliance grew stronger with each passing day, each challenge faced together, forging a bond deeper than either could have imagined. Lyra's quick wit and intuitive understanding of the alethiometer complemented Will's steadfast determination and newfound skill with the subtle knife. But their quest was not without costs. The knife exacted a terrible price from its bearer. With each cut between worlds, Will could feel a piece of himself being chipped away. The two missing fingers on his left hand were a constant reminder of the knife's hunger. Their search for answers led them to Dr. Mary Malone, a scientist from Will's world who was studying dark matter. What Lyra knew as Dus, her experiments with the cave, a computer that could communicate with Dus particles, opened up new avenues of understanding. As Mary explained her findings, her eyes alight with the thrill of discovery, Lyra and Will exchanged glances. The connections between dust, consciousness, and the fate of all worlds were becoming clearer, and with that clarity came a growing sense of the monumental task that lay before them. But dark forces were closing in. Mrs. Coulter, Lyra's mother, and a woman of terrifying ambition, had tracked them across worlds. Her beauty was matched only by her cruelty. Her daemon, a golden monkey with malevolent eyes, a reflection of her fractured soul. Their confrontation in the streets of Sitgaz was a nightmare of conflicting emotions and deadly intent. Lyra, torn between her fear of her mother and a desperate longing for parental love, found herself paralyzed. It was Will, his face set in grim determination, who stood between Lyra and Mrs. Coulter, the subtle knife glinting in his hand. "You'll not touch her," Will growled, his voice carrying a strength that belied his years. Mrs. Coulter's laugh was like shattered glass. "Oh, my dear boy, you have no idea what forces you're dealing with." The fight that ensued was as much a battle of wills as it was of physical prowess. Mrs. Coulter's trained guards were no match for the subtle knife, but her cunning and ruthlessness nearly overwhelmed them. It was only through quick thinking and teamwork that Lyra and Will managed to escape. Cutting a window to another world, and tumbling through just as Ms. Coulter's fingers grasped at empty air, as they caught their breath in the safety of a new world. The reality of their situation began to sink in. They were no longer just two lost children stumbling through a mystery. They were key players in a cosmic drama, their actions rippling across multiple universes. Their path forward was fraught with danger and uncertainty. The subtle knife, while powerful, was also a burden. Its ability to cut between worlds was both a blessing and a curse, each use weakening the boundaries between realities. As they sat beneath an alien sky, stars unfamiliar to either of their worlds twinkling above, Lyra turned to Will. "Do you ever wish you could just go back to before all this started?" Will was quiet for a long moment, his hand absently tracing the scars where his fingers used to be. "Sometimes," he admitted. "But then I think about what's at stake, about all the people counting on us, even if they don't know it. We can't turn back now." Lyra nodded, Pantalaimon nuzzling against her neck in comfort. "I suppose you're right. It's so big, isn't it? Sometimes I feel like I can hardly breathe with the weight of it all." Will reached out hesitantly, taking Lyra's hand in his. "We're in this together, Lyra. Whatever comes, we'll face it side by side." As dawn broke over this new world, painting the sky in hues of lavender and gold, Lyra and Will steeled themselves for the challenges ahead. The subtle knife hung heavy at Will's side, a constant reminder of their purpose and the price of failure. They knew that powerful forces were aligning against them. Lord Asriel's rebellion, Mrs. Coulter's scheming, the Magisterium's iron grip. All these threads were weaving together into a tapestry of conflict that spanned multiple universes. But they also had allies. The witch Serafina Pekkala, with her ageless wisdom and powerful magic. Lee Scoresby, the Texan aeronaut whose loyalty knew no bounds. And perhaps most intriguingly, the angels Baruch and Balthamos, who spoke of a war in heaven and a prophecy that centered on Lyra and Will. As they set out once more, each step taking them deeper into the heart of the cosmic conflict, Lyra and Will clung to each other, two children against the universe, armed with nothing but a truth-telling compass, reality-cutting knife, and the unshakable bond between them. The subtle knife gleamed in the new day's light, its double edge, a reminder of the fine line they walked between salvation and destruction. With it, they could reshape reality itself. But at what cost, and to what end? These questions and more swirled in their minds as they journeyed on their path, leading them inexorably towards a confrontation that would determine the fate of not just their worlds, but all worlds.